Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Using Agilities to Advance Your Civic or Career Journey webinar. I'm Wendy Doyle, President and CEO of United We. To further get to know each other, please introduce yourself in the chat. Drop your name, if you are with an organization, who that organization is, and where you are joining us from. Again, welcome. Our time together is short, so please drop any questions you have throughout the presentation in the chat, and we'll do our very best to answer as many as possible at the end of the presentation. And now would be a good time, if you haven't done so, to change your Zoom settings from gallery view to speaker view. So thank you. For those of you who do not know, United We is a nonpartisan organization dedicated to advancing all women's economic and civic leadership. Everything we do is rooted in data. We use evidence-based research to identify specific barriers to women across the nation, and then develop smart, practical solutions to overcome them. Over the last 2 years, we have had the opportunity to talk with more than 800 women across Kansas and Missouri specifically during our town hall series. One thing we heard was the need for more programming that supports the civic and economic empowerment of women. United We's Appointments Project specifically has teamed up with the DeBruce Foundation to provide more resources for women who are interested in civic leadership. In light of the rapid pace of change in our economy, it is more important than ever to be agile in the workplace and in our community. What you will hear today and during this webinar has an impactful asset for you, your career journey, as well as the Appointments Project. So with that, I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker today. I am honored to introduce to you a good friend of United We, Dr. Leigh Anne Taylor Knight. She is the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of the DeBruce Foundation. She is their fearless leader. We've had a long-time partnership with the DeBruce Foundation, and I'm excited for you to learn more about a very specific tool designed to help you inspire your career or civic journey. So with that, I'll turn it over to my good friend, Leigh Anne. Take it away.
Thank you, Wendy. And thank you, everyone, for taking time to invest in yourself today. We're especially excited to have you, my colleagues and I, as well as Wendy and the team at United We, being able to take a look at what it is that might actually make just that real little difference on your civic and your career journey. So let me talk to you a little bit about who we are at the DeBruce Foundation. Our mission is to expand pathways to economic growth and opportunity. So one of the questions that we grapple with that you possibly have in your mind too is, how should a person be preparing to navigate career transitions and leadership opportunities across an entire lifetime? So if you're one of those folks who's here today, we are actually going to be able to share with you in the beginning a couple of things that our research has defined as really important to grow and develop in order for you to navigate those career transitions. And then we're going to lead you through how you can use that information to also think about how it informs your journey as a leader and your civic opportunities. With that, let me tell you that there are two things that we know we can grow and develop to become on a pathway to being more economically able. And one of those is career literacy. So if you are a person who wants to have a really clear vision for your career, if you're someone who wants to know more about your skills and your interests, if you want to even gain skills in how to communicate what it is that you do and that you know how to do that will bring value into your volunteer opportunities, value into a place where someone will pay you to use those, if you want to have those more robust job search skills, and if you're a person who wants to have the capability to explore multiple career pathways, then career literacy is what you want to build. And as a part of today's session, I'm actually going to give you a free tool that you can use to develop that career literacy. The second thing that we know individuals can grow and develop across the economy is our network strength. I love how United We is all about helping us network, right? Just even by putting our names with what organization we are and where we are sitting today, United We is actually helping all of us be a part of a collection of individuals. And by way of that, we're starting to see that there is diversity in those connections and people who have connections that come from folks from different industries, folks from different education levels, folks with different social experiences that we have. It's really important to our being on a pathway to being employment empowered and empowered on our civic and career and our leadership journeys. The other thing that's really important, and this is why I cherish that Wendy would call me one of her friends, is it's not just about the diversity, but it's also about that level of supportiveness. So I noticed that Lily is in this today, and Lily and I met by way of another individual. So we were coming from diverse industries, but now Lily and I have been able to become more enmeshed with each other. And there's a supportiveness. Like I know that I can call on Lily and say, hey, Lily, you're one of our agility coaches. You know something about this. Help some other folks know something about this. So that level of supportiveness is super important. And what we find with individuals is when they have both a high career literacy and a high network strength on their career journey, they are more employment empowered. Now, throw a yes in the chat or a yay or a woohoo if you would like to have any or one of these things that are on the employment empowerment slide. Would you like to have higher income and better benefits? Would you like to have more influence over your work conditions? Accumulation of savings so that you can address urgent and things that come up as emergencies, but also so that you build on that wealth across a lifetime. Do you care about having an increased confidence in being able to explore new careers? I mean, if 39% of the careers went away during COVID and they're not coming back, what is it that you need to have today? Confidence in order to explore more careers. And also, do you want to be at a lower risk of unemployment? I love that across the town halls that United We has done, many of you have said, hey, listen, I'm looking at a career transition. I want to have more control. I want to think about what that looks like in terms of entrepreneurship. I want to think about how I can have more confidence in doing something new and something different. You're all the right folks to actually be employment empowered. And so our research shows that folks who are more employment empowered have that higher career literacy, that higher network strength. They actually can make 55% higher in salaries, have those better benefits, more control over their working conditions, and they are less likely to be unemployed. So that being said, I promised you at the beginning, I'd give you a tool that you would be able to use on your civic, your career, your entrepreneurial journey. So let's take a look at that tool right now. The tool that I have for you today is something that we've developed at the DeBruce Foundation, and United We has been a wonderful partner in saying, let's make this available to the folks who we know are on these kinds of journeys. This tool, the Agile Work Profiler, was developed by our team. We did it by way of analyzing the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data. It turns out that all jobs in the economy have 10 working activities. They're just there in differing amounts. And the other secret about this is that it's jobs, whether or not you're paid or unpaid, you're going to see these same work activities that I'm about to reveal to you. We like to call them the agilities. And the best part about it too is that you can grow and develop these. So let's take a look at what those 10 agilities are. Those 10 agilities, the agilities of work, I'm going to read them. And as I do, if you've used one of these today, I want you to throw it in the chat. We have developing others, innovating, inspecting. Did you look at something in detail today? Judging and estimating. Did you have to figure out how long it was going to take you to get from where you live to where you work? And there's a new traffic pattern because of some construction. Managing, operating objects. How about organizing? I don't know about you, but before I leave my house each day, I have to do a lot of organizing. Selling and communicating, serving and caring, or working with information. Those are the 10 agilities of work. And as I said, whether you're getting paid for that work or you're doing something in a volunteer setting, you're actually building these agilities of work. So the last thing that I want to be able to share with you is then, how would one know what their agilities are at this point in time? Your ranked agilities can actually be found out by using the Agile Work Profiler. And it was one time, we can go to the next slide. It was one time when Wendy and I were together and just talking about the exciting work at United We and talking about the things that we were doing. She's like, our folks, our town hall meeting folks, they need the Agile Work Profiler. And the best part about it is we're here today to be able to partner and to say, you have access to this tool. And just in 10 minutes, you can discover your strengths and passion. It will actually spit out to you words that you can use on your resume, even on your board applications, the things that you are doing. It's research-based and tested. Again, it only takes 10 to 15 minutes to do it, and it's not going to cost you anything at all to do that. So as we turn to the next slide, we're going to make sure that you have access to this QR code, that you can use it today. If you're someone who's listening and can't look at that QR code, United We actually has this tool at their website, as well as we have it at agilities.org. And you may find that there's somebody else who you're trying to help on their career journey, making a transition, or on their leadership journey. It's a tool that's available all the time for you to be able to use it. So Wendy, do we have some questions coming in?
Leigh Anne, we are going to for sure. So thank you for that, an incredible overview. And again, United We believe strongly in this exceptional tool, and we hope that not only you, but you encourage others in your circle of influence to share this free, accessible tool. So we do want to shift now to specific questions that anyone may have. And again, feel free to drop those in the chat. We have plenty of time here to answer your questions. And before we actually jump into those questions, I do want to let you know that we're going to launch a short survey during the Q&A session to gather your feedback on today's webinar. And we'll also send this out afterwards via email with the recording, but wanted to give you an opportunity to provide feedback. So let's open it up to questions. And again, feel comfortable in dropping them in the chat. While we're doing so, we've collected a couple of questions in advance. So Leigh Anne, our first question, can you share an example of a success story of someone who used the Agile Work Profiler who had been out of the workforce for a while?
Yes, across COVID, we did some virtual webinars. I think we were all doing that. And I can remember very specifically a time that we had a woman who was really kind of hearing a conversation that was like this, and we shared the Agile Work Profiler, and she actually did it in the session. And she said, I'm just a mom and I have not been in the workforce, so I'm pretty sure I don't even know how to start, where to start with my resume or what to do. Well, she took the Agile Work Profiler and she ended up then emailing me and saying, this has changed my life. She said, I thought that all of this work I'd done with raising these 4 children, that basically I'd been isolated out of the workforce. I knew nothing. And we were like, oh no, you're serving and caring agilities. You're developing other agilities. You're organizing, you're managing. That is exactly what you have been doing. And she saw it come up in her profile. And all of a sudden she was like, oh my gosh, I know how to talk about myself. She goes, I just figured nobody would want me, to come and work for them and that I would be of no value. And so I think that is a perfect example of all the work that we are doing, whether we're getting paid for it or not, we are growing and developing our agilities. And she was a perfect example. Another one that I have, Wendy, is there's a woman who I know who, she was a teacher for years. She decided that as a part of after she got married and she has her first baby, and she's like, okay, I'm not sure about the school thing now in education, so I think I want to try something else. And so she ventured out and started her own business. It was right as COVID was starting, and she had acquired like a building space in order to be able to sell her goods. Well, we all know that she had to pivot during COVID and take that to an online environment. And along the way, she had been a teacher who had used the Agile Work Profiler, and she will tell the story about how she then went back and said, wait, I am a new mom. I am trying to start a new business. I think my agilities might actually be changing. And so she took the Agile Work Profiler, and sure enough, there were some things that were rising to the top a little bit stronger in her ranked order because she was learning new things and she was getting better at those things. And then she was discovering new things that she really liked to do. And so that's why I encourage people, even on your journey, we're all going to go through transitions on our career journey and in our leadership journeys. And sometimes we just need to stop and reflect on who we are, what it is we like to do, what we do well. And the Agile Work Profiler allows you to do that and then helps you gain self-confidence and self-worth in that.
That's a great response. And again, you underscored, this is, what you described as your examples of what we heard time and time again as we were hosting our town halls and hearing from women, during the pandemic, taking a little time to do some self-reflection, kind of determining what's next, still wanting to participate in the labor force, but just not sure where to plug in. So thank you for sharing that. We have a couple more questions. So thank you, Jenny, for this next question, which is who has access to the results?
Oh, Jenny, I am so thankful that you asked that. We treat this much like you would treat your medical record, or like a hospital would treat your medical record. Only you have access to your results, and what you choose to publish on your LinkedIn profile or put in a resume or talk about in an interview or disclose to someone as you're attempting to get appointed to an opportunity, that is all up to you. We're really just very mindful of that. Also, as a charitable organization, we don't sell anyone's data. So we may send you information that says, hey, we have a new tool. We know you took the Agile Work Profiler. Would you like to try this tool? But it would still be at no cost to you. And we don't sell that data to anyone else. So we really believe that it's like your education record or your health record. You as an individual own that. And remember, it can grow and develop over time. So we like to say to people, hey, it's like your annual checkout. I mean, like I'm going to my dermatologist in a couple of weeks and I'm going to get a clean bill of health. I'm going to know where I sit right now in terms of the health of my skin. And I'm going to do that again next year. So we encourage people, take it more than once. Track your own journey about how your agilities change over time because of new experiences that you have, both paid and unpaid, and new things you're trying, like the person I mentioned earlier.
Thank you, Leigh Anne. That's a great response. We have a question from Lily. So thank you, Lily. And I'll turn this to you, Leigh Anne, and then happy to add too. But can you provide an example of how you can use the agilities for civic engagement?
Well, Lily, that is a great question. I think one of the ways is to think about it, how you as an individual can use it. So when you understand your strengths and your interests, you may better as an individual be able to see the ways that you could plug in to different opportunities and engage in civic efforts. I also think that sometimes when we're in civic efforts, we're then called, right, to lead others. And so those may be volunteers. Those may be it may be a combination of volunteers and other people who are staff. And so sometimes knowing what is it that everybody on the team likes to do and perceives that they do well. And then you might be able to have, so we have some situations where we found that stronger teams can be built in order to get to whatever goal we have as a group. And so if everybody takes, and again, it's free, everybody take the Agile Work Profiler, ask those folks to share it with one another. Hey, what are your top 3 at this point in time? What are the tasks that we have to do? And then looking across what it is that people like to do and they do well, and kind of maybe divvying up and sharing the load across those tasks based on what their agilities are.
And Leigh Anne, I would just add, one reason that we really looked at our partnership with the Appointments Project specifically, we heard time and time again from women just, unsure. There are a lot of options of boards and commissions and task force. And this is a real tool to get clarity on where their skill set may be, but it also is an opportunity if there is a skill that they want to improve upon or to learn. The Agilities Work Profiler is another example, maybe to identify, here's something that I want to get better at. And by applying it to a board or a commission that you may be able to learn, perhaps budgeting or, how to negotiate better by serving on a board or a commission, that's an an opportunity through a volunteer, job to be able to learn that skill set. So we really see this as, multi-uses for the appointments project specifically. So wanted to put that on the table.
I love that. May I share an example that I heard
Please.
just this week in working with someone who's in, I would say, somewhat of a precarious situation at this point in time, not too long ago. And it's just really being stretched to have to grow. And her remark was, I'm practicing my managing agility. And I think I'm just going to maybe post managing all across this entire wall, or but I'm really going, I need to grow my managing, and this is an opportunity for me to do that. And so I think that when we find ourselves in those situations, but also to your point, Wendy, it's like, man, I keep not getting that job or not getting that opportunity because I say I don't have enough experience in that. And so let me get in. And because they want somebody who's going to be able to look at data and understand it in terms of what our return on investment is going to be with that. So let me get into some type of experience where I can grow and develop my working with information skills and get more comfortable in that space. I love that that was the example that you gave. And I see it all the time. People being very intentional about, I need to grow and develop this, and that's what's going to help me get the next step.
Great. Thank you, Leigh Anne. Another question. There was a slide with the 10 agilities of work. And does this tool provide some examples of careers that would be a fit based on someone's strengths?
Yes, thank you for asking about that. Our team at the DeBruce Foundation has built out Career Explorer tools, and those Career Explorer tools will let one examine the amount that gets paid, really the projection of jobs in particular areas. It lets you see the agilities ranked order for that particular job. So if we had teacher up, then it might have developing others, serving and caring, organizing. So you can see 1 through 10. You can see what those opportunities look like in terms of salary. You can also, there's an education explorer. So you can look at what are the credentials that you have to have for that job, and then where are places across the nation that I could look at taking the next step to achieve those credentials. So that tool is available and also free of no charge to folks. And another tool that's out there too is Draw Your Future with Agilities. And so that's an hour-long kind of a session, but it's a recording, and it kind of helps you say, here's where I am today. What do I want my future to look like? And what are 3 big, bold steps? Just walks you through as an individual, kind of a reflective process to do that.
Leigh Anne, another question from Ashley in the chat. I see many women are much better at advocating for others than are comfortable doing so for themselves. So what is your self-pep talk you recommend for those of us who aren't used to tooting our own horn, especially professionally?
So the practical teacher in me goes right to the point that after taking the Agile Work Profiler, you're actually going to get words that you can use, phraseologies that you can use in order to be able to do that. And specifically to your question, what is your self-pep talk that you recommend to us that aren't used to doing that? Again, a very practical thing is to make yourself do it in front of the mirror. I mean, I know that sounds really silly, but make yourself look in the mirror and do that. And really even wake up every single morning, possibly having those things that you do well, someplace that you will see them, and then practice throughout the day, at least one time saying, hey, I'm using my organizing skill right now in order to do this with you. And so begin calling out the specificity of the agility that you are using and the task that you are marrying to that. Because the more that you actually do that across your regular day, even if you just do it to yourself, then the more likely you will be able to say that when someone asks you about something.
Great advice. Lily has another as a comment and a question. The Career Explorer tools are awesome, as are all of the short videos that explain how to use the tools and explain each of the 10 agilities. So anything that you want to say there, Leigh Anne?
Yes, go use them. They're available. And I'm just going to say say to you that the ones that are launched now are out there. They're fantastic, and watch in the fall because we'll be launching even new and improved ones. But go use what they are now. Thanks, Lily.
And Jenny has dropped a resource too in the chat. So says that I love that Rhiannon at our library highlights this tool. There's a link. So thank you for sharing that, Jenny. A final question, Leigh Anne. There's a big push for upscaling to meet the needs of our economy. How does the Agile Work Profiler play into that?
Yes, thank you to our friends at Kansas City Public Library and others that are making this available so easily to folks. And I'll just stack on to that in terms of this upskilling piece. It really is important that people be able to widen the spectrum of what they will consider. So many tools really kind of pigeonhole us into, well, I'm just matched to this, or this is what I've done my whole life. I don't know anything else or how to do anything else. And so the whole point of the tools is that we can open up the spectrum and people will look and see themselves being of value in the career marketplace in a variety of sectors and in a variety of jobs. And in terms of upskilling, it can help businesses and others begin to identify, these are agilities that are used in these jobs. We need to grow and develop those in terms of the current workforce that we have and those that are coming in and through our pipeline.
Leigh Anne, we want to thank you for being such a tremendous guest with us today at United We. And we thank everyone who have joined us today. This recording will be available. We'll be sending this out along with a survey. In addition, we hope that you will access this free Agile Work Profiler. You can access that with the QR code on the screen. Encourage others to take advantage of this free resource as well. And we hope that you will utilize this not only to think about what career or entrepreneurship looks like for you, but also your civic journey as well. Thank you all, and we hope you have a wonderful day.